Good morning and welcome back. This is Camille Pauly, your host on Real Presence Live. And it's such a beautiful day to be with you and to share with you the joy of our faith through so many wonderful guests. We have two more guests coming up later in this show. One of them is going to be Kenneth Rowling, who is an amazing man who founded an amazing mission in a school, and he's going to tell us more about that. And then another amazing man, which is my husband, who's going to be updating us about what's going on in Pierre and things you need to know about that's happening in our local area to help change the law and the culture at the same time. But right now I want to talk to you a little bit about something that's been on my heart. Many of our listeners know I started Healing the Culture back in 2003 with Father Robert Spitzer. So Father Spitzer, many of you know from EWTN. He's got his show Spitzer's Universe on EWTN. He was the president of Gonzaga University for about 11 years and is the founder and president of the Magis Center in California, in Orange County, where he does a whole lot of work to help people understand the faith, to come to believe in God through miracles, through science, through philosophy, through logic and reason, and combining faith and reason. But one of the big things that he also did was to articulate a position on the pro-life movement. And this is where my heart has led me. I knew from a young age that I was going to be involved in pro-life ministry. Started when I was a kid in high school, and one of my neighbors who was a Baptist had me come with her and pray in front of an abortion clinic. And I watched women go into that clinic very anxious, very nervous, and very pregnant. And I watched them come out very broken, very sad, very depressed, and lost. And it moved me very deeply because before that, abortion to me was something more intellectual. It was wrong. I knew it was wrong. I knew what the unborn child was. I knew the biology. But I didn't really connect with what was happening in the heart of a woman or a man when they are contemplating abortion and when a woman goes through an abortion. And that had a profound effect on me. So when I met Father Spitzer, I knew from listening to him talk about abortion that that he was right. We needed something in the pro-life movement that went much deeper than what we usually do in pro-life evangelization. We needed to reach people in their hearts and in their minds and connect their hearts with their minds on why they should be pro-life and why they should care about being pro-life. So he started this ministry in 2003. We called it Healing the Culture, and I took the program first as a project and then moved it into an organization. And the whole goal of the organization is to help pro-life people, first and foremost, get a deeper, more logical, and more effective language when they are educating people about why they should be pro-life. And the second major goal of the organization is to produce resources that we can use in the pro-life movement to reach people who are not pro-life, but who are open and share with them the good news about being pro-life and help convince them either through the mind or the heart or both. That's what we do at Healing the Culture. Our website is healingtheculture.org. We are over 20 years old, and we've been doing this work for a long time. And one of the things that my first guest, Father Brian, had talked about was that problem we have in the culture, the chaos and the confusion caused in the culture because of distractions. You know, if you're wondering, why is our culture so messed up? Well, a big reason why it's messed up is because people have lost a sense of purpose and a sense of meaning. And a lot of that comes because people are distracted by what's coming out of cultural voices that are trying to sell you something or are trying to get something out of their relationship with you, or trying to lead you into something for ulterior motives. And so we get sucked into these other distractions. We get sucked into these things that are not true meaning and purpose, and we begin to define our meaning and purpose in terms of those outer things. So what Father Spitzer did was he created a curriculum that he calls the 4 levels of happiness. And some of you may have heard this before. I'm going to go through those briefly for a purpose, because I want to show you how much these levels connect to the pro-life issues. And then I want to share with you some resources that we have that are free, that you can get on our website, healingtheculture.org, to learn this content yourself, to share it with others, and to share it with anybody you know. This is what we do all day long, is create these resources for you. So here's the nugget behind what we do at Healing the Culture. Here's the problem with the culture. The number one primary problem with our culture, and usually with any culture that's gone astray and is filled with chaos and confusion, is a misunderstanding of the word happiness. A misunderstanding of what it means to be fulfilled, right? What is happiness? Happiness simply can be defined as the fulfillment of a desire. And when you have fulfilled a desire, you have a sense of happiness, right? You feel happy, or you sense happy, or you are content. That's what happiness is. But the problem is that our culture doesn't define happiness well. And as the Greeks taught us 2,400 years ago, there are 4 different ways you can define happiness. So happiness level 1 would be the most concrete. It's the easiest to get, and it's what we all seek and desire when we are born. Right? When we are very young, we desire physical pleasure and material possessions. And it's good because we need to eat and we need to drink and we need warmth and we need shelter. We need all these physical things because they're good. The problem is that people learn from the culture or from somebody around them who is a bad mentor or a misguided, authority figure. They learn that level 1 is most important. And when you do that, you end up in crisis. And it affects the way you view everything else. You live for physical pleasure and possessions. You're going to view success as having more stuff. You're going to view freedom as not having anybody tie me down or constrain me from getting what I want. You're going to view the person as a physical material thing. You're going to view love as give me what I want and then you love me. You're going to view quality of life as the ratio of what you have to what you don't have. So all these important cultural terms get defined by how you define happiness. And I hope you can sort of see how this affects the pro-life movement. If you can convince people that happiness is just physical pleasure and material possession, and then you get them scared that it might be taken away from them, and then you convince them that their freedom is at stake, and then you convince them that true freedom is freedom of choice, to have all your options open before you all the time, and to be able to choose whatever you want whenever you want, well, then you can convince those people that if they have an unplanned pregnancy that's getting in the way of those material pleasures and possessions, abortion might be a really important thing to exercise to protect your success and your quality of life and your love and your freedom. And we forget about deeper happiness. The same thing happens with the second level of happiness, right? A little deeper than physical pleasure is the ego high. So wanting to be powerful or successful or accomplished or popular or admired or wanting to achieve something, some way making my ego world a little bigger. And again, there's nothing wrong with level 2 because those things can be used for good purpose. But the problem with happiness level 2 is that if we live for it as an end in itself, it leads to jealousy at people who have more than I do, or suspicion of others, or bitterness and envy, or anger, or contempt of people who are weak. And here's the thing. When people are living for level 1 and 2, they get convinced that quality of life is being independent, being in control, right? Having more than others, having the appreciation and respect of others. And of course, when an unborn child comes into the mix and I wasn't expecting that and I didn't plan it, what happens to me? I lose control and I lose power and I lose respect of others in the world, in the eyes of the world. And so once again, abortion becomes not just a temptation, but a solution. So what we do at Healing the Culture is we help people identify how they're living for level 1 and 2, how it's crept into their lives to cause confusion and chaos in their lives, and how it's unworthy of them. That level 1 and 2 are good when they're used as a means to a greater end, but they're not good as ends in themselves because they lead to unhappiness and they lead to things like abortion in the end. Happiness level 3 is when we identify our meaning in life in terms of the good that we can do for the sake of the other, making a difference in another's life, seeking justice, seeking truth, right, for the sake of helping others to know what is good and right, seeking what is beautiful in the world, seeking to build community, right, unity out of the world. So those 5 transcendentals of Aristotle: truth, love, justice, beauty, and one, unity or home. This is what we're leading people towards. And of course, level 4 is the ultimate good, the ultimate love, our search for God. And here's my point, that we need to move people into levels 3 and 4 if we want to move them into deeper and better views of what it means to be happy, successful, have high quality of life, and to be free. healingtheculture.org has all kinds of resources for you. And you can go there. If you go to healingtheculture.org and you send us a message through the contact page, we will send you free episodes of our Philo and Sophie program that teaches these concepts on the 4 levels of happiness in very simple ways to young kids. You can reach kids who are kindergarten, preschool, first, second, third grade. You can do this with your grandkids. You can teach this to your students. Go to healingtheculture.org. Send us a message through the contact page, and we will send you the first 3 episodes for free of Philo and Sophie that you can use right now to evangelize people on pro-life. This is Camille Pauly on Real Presence Live, and we are up in a break. We will be right back after the break.